Elohai Neshama SheNatata Bi Tehorahi. Elohai Neshama SheNatata Bi Tehorahi. Ata varata ata yatzarta ata nefachta bi ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה עתיד לתהילה ממני, ולהחזירה ולעתיד לבוא. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך. אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות. ברוך אתה אדוני, המחזיר נשמות לבקרים מתים. My God, the soul you placed within me is pure. You created it, you fashioned it, you breathed it into me. You safeguard it within me, and eventually you will take it from me and restore it to me in the time to come. As long as the soul is within me, I gratefully thank you, Lord, my God, and the God of my forefathers, Master of all works, Lord of all souls. Blessed are you, O Lord, who restores souls to dead bodies. This is a prayer from the morning prayers in the siddur. And the thing about a neshama, it's one of 3 different words for a soul or a spirit in Jewish tradition. There's the neshama, which comes from the same root as the word for breath. And that, as this prayer says, is pure. There is nothing that can ever make it unclean or less good. It is always pure. There's your ruach, which is the same word for wind. And I think of that as like your passion, your driving force. And there's the nefesh. Your nefesh is like your emotional self. So lots of things can go on with your passion and your driving force and the things that you do, and also with your emotional internal self that can be damaged or damaging, that can harm others or be harmed. But your neshama, that holy breath from God, that pure essence of who you are, is always pure. I've been thinking about that in the context of restorative justice, and I've also been thinking about that in the context of difficult relationships, like the one that I have with my mom. I have a lot of troubles with my mom. She's done a lot of harm to a lot of people. And yet, some people who know her think that she is so nice, just so good. And in a way, they're not wrong. From my perspective, I look at that niceness and that goodness and I think, it's all fake. You don't know what she's saying behind your back. I know what she says behind my back because people report it to me all the time. Well, they did before. Now she has no memory and she thinks I'm her brother. But, you know, in the before time, before the dementia got this far. But even all of that, her essence, the core of her being, is still pure, even if I can't see that. Now, I'm never gonna reconcile with her in the sense that she never did acknowledge the harm that she did, and she never will now. there's never going to be any apology, any attempt to fix things. But now, that all kind of doesn't matter. Even though she's still alive, she has no memory to speak of. The things that she does remember, some of them aren't true, and some of them are true, but they're all the good and sunny parts. You know, in a way, I guess you could say she's kind of reduced to that pure soul at the moment. Not entirely, maybe, but sort of. But when we think about having compassion for somebody, we have to remember that in that, whoever they are, they still have that pure essence inside of them. You know, I've heard of Buddhist teachings that have a similar kind of take. And I don't know enough about them to say anything really, but I've been inspired in my life by Buddhists who take the idea of having compassion for everybody, even harm doers, very seriously. And I would like to see people who are capable of acknowledging harm and taking account do that work. And I would like to be a person who can acknowledge my mistakes and repair those things. I don't always do it. I'm super imperfect. But why am I imperfect? And why is my mom imperfect? It's not because of the pure essence of who we are. I know a lot about my mom's history, and I know how damaged her nefesh was as a child. The emotional damage that happened in her life. And I guess we could say that that emotional damage affected her passions and her drives and how she reacted to the world. And those things together have made for the harmful parts. It's a kind of injury that, you know, the symptom of the injury is the harm that comes back out the other way. And a sign of healing of injury is when we don't do the harms that have been done to us. And maybe she healed a bit of the generational injuries that came down to her. And I hope that I've done more of that work in healing those injuries. But I also know that I was far from a perfect parent. I'm completely flabbergasted at how much better of a parent my son is than I ever was. And I am really grateful to be able to see that. And I'm also really grateful to have the opportunity to be an active parent-type figure in the lives of my grandchildren now, as a way to do some more of that tikkun, some more of that fixing, some more of that repair in the world. And hopefully they'll be healthier and stronger and have fewer injuries to their other soul parts, so that they'll be able to act in a better way in the world and bring even more healing into the world. That's my thought for today.